Is Halloween H20 better than John Carpenter's Halloween 1978? Let's talk about it. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're already commenting right now. Blake, you're crazy. No, Halloween 1978 is the best, blah, 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 blah. Calm down. Take a deep breath, right? I'm not saying that Halloween H2O is 100% better. I'm not saying it's better at all. I'm posing the question because I think there are elements of Halloween H2O that make it a conversation to where it could be better. And the reason why I say that is that I feel like with Halloween fans, 1978 is the gold standard, as it should be, right? And no other movie is allowed to be in the conversation. You can discuss what the best Friday the 13th movie. You can discuss what the best Nightmare on Elm Street movie. Scream. Though people love the original, there is still fans for other movies in that franchise to where people will argue what's the best in that franchise. But in Halloween, if you say anything other than the original, it's like people lose their minds. And to me, there's certain movies or certain elements that have a chance to have a better argument to be in that conversation for it. And I think what holds a lot of these movies back, and today we are focusing on Halloween H2O. I'm going to make a video discussing other options as well. But Halloween H2O, I genuinely think, from a story perspective, a pacing perspective, characters and all that, it is definitely in the conversation. I love Halloween H2O. But there are elements of the movie that people can point to easily to where they can say, not a chance. Where Halloween 1978, I don't think it's 100% flawless, but it's basically flawless, especially for its time and what it does. I think it's slightly overrated in the sense of people acting like it doesn't have a single error, right? I still think, just like any movie, nothing's completely perfect, but I love Halloween 1978, and I almost wouldn't change a thing to it, right? It's just, it's the original, right? It's the original score, the original story. We don't need to get into all that. We all love Halloween the original. I made a video on it a couple years ago, different quality, but all my thoughts are basically the same, I'm pretty sure, and probably more. And the flaws of Halloween H2O that is always going to hold it back is the mask. The mask situation automatically disqualifies it in argument's sakes for most people's mind. I can argue that Halloween H2O is better than most movies in the franchise. I can argue Halloween 4 is better than most movies in the franchise. And you can go down the list, whatever your favorite movie is, right? The one thing that the original will always have on pretty much all of them is that the mask is so much better than all of the movies. If Michael Myers didn't have that original mask in that first movie, who knows where the franchise goes, right? What if it was the Halloween 5 mask that started it all off, right? Would it made the same impact? I don't know. Halloween 1 was lightning in a bottle when it comes to mask and everything about it, right? It's a great movie, basically a perfect horror movie. It's one of my favorite horror movies of all time. Halloween H2O, I think, would have a chance. Story elements, I like Laurie Strode so much better in H2O. It's the best version of Laurie Strode, by far, in Halloween H2O. I like the characters. I love the setting. I know a lot of people don't like that it's not in Haddonfield, right? But that opening shot, that opening 10-15 minutes, I think was really good for the Halloween H2O setting. I know people say it's too much like Scream, but I love Scream. I don't care. Yes, you can add a little bit more Halloween score elements to it. That could definitely be fixed. But the mask is the major issue. If you fix that mask, just in general, like, it's not just one mask, as most people know by now. There's like 4 masks throughout the movie. So it's not just like, oh, we have one really bad mask in it, I can't stand it. It's jarring watching the movie and the mask change 4 different times. Opening scene is basically a Halloween Curse of Michael Myers mask, and I love that mask. It's one of the best masks in the franchise. And if they had that mask the entire movie, I think we're having a different conversation. Then you have the K and B mask, which is absolutely horrible, and thank God someone realized it a little too late, right, after filming the whole movie, that we can't have Michael look like this. Why did nobody realize this stuff? This is what baffles me with the Halloween franchise, that people just allow these horrible masks, inconsistent masks, in every movie, pretty much. And I'll make a whole video about that now that I'm talking about it. I'm being inspired in the moment. Then there's the CGI mask, which is just absolutely insane. I don't know if it's something I noticed as a kid, but the second I noticed it, whether it was a YouTuber pointed it out or whatever, you never unnotice it after you see it for the first time. And I would say now I'd probably notice it, but I don't know if I noticed it as a kid. Then there's the main mask throughout the entire movie where his eyes are showing. I actually don't hate that mask aesthetically, right? Based off the vibe. It's just that the eyes are showing. I think if the eyes weren't showing, that mask doesn't look that horrible shape-wise. The other thing in this movie is I think it could have used one or two more kills, like actual on-screen kills. I talked about the opening scene being pretty solid, but most of the kills are off-screen, right? I think if you had one more kill somewhere in between, I think it would be a lot better. But then you could argue Halloween 1978 doesn't have that much kills either. So I think it's very similar in tone, approach, pacing, not going for the over-the-top like kill fest like Halloween 6 has, where it's like Michael's like going out after everybody, right? It's a little bit closer to home to the original in that aspect, making it more story driven and working with what they got, not having Dr. Loomis for the first time, even though they do pay homage to him in the opening scene credits, which I loved, right? It's does the best it can do with having the first time not having Dr. Loomis. But I just love the vibe. This is a vintage 90s Halloween movie. This is the most 90s version, because Halloween 6 is also in the 90s, but it's like the cutoff. That was like the pre-Scream era. I like that we have a Halloween movie in the Scream era. It gives a nice new different flavor. And again, it's really boils down to this being the best Laurie Strode. I like the story elements. I love that she's battling like trauma. The way she's handling trauma and dealing with it is way better than it was in Halloween 2018 by a mile. And it's more justified because in this one, Michael is on the loose. She doesn't know where he's at, and it's her brother, so she knows he's coming after her. And Halloween 1 and 2 are canon in this event, and Halloween 2 makes things a lot worse. So, story-wise, H20 just makes a lot more sense than 2018. It's a shame that 2018 has the way better Mask and Michael Myers in that movie. If you swap 2018 and Halloween H20 together like they're Michaels, that's where you could have a conversation that Halloween H20 could be better than the original if you had that Michael in this movie. Now, granted, would it fit? I don't know. But even the little elements of having Halloween 6 mask, that opening mask throughout the entire movie, it would have a fighting chance. And that's really the point of this video, is that what things could we have changed to give it a good argument to be the best in the franchise? Because with a lot of these movies, and that's where I kind of sit back and go, okay, Halloween fans, you got it, right? And I'm still going to get hates because some people aren't even going to listen to what I'm going to say, and they're going to be too toxic, and they're going to say, you're an idiot for even bringing this up because Halloween 1978. At the end of the day, they're movies. We're allowed to discuss them. We're allowed to have different opinions. And I'm not saying Halloween H20 is better. There was certain points where I did like it better. I probably wouldn't put it higher than the original at this point, right? Because the flaws are too there with H20. But I will say it's one of my most favorite to rewatch and throw on in the background. It's also the shortest movie in the franchise, so the pacing is just very... It's fluid. It's a nice background, like throw it on and just, not take it too serious, just have a good time. You have some interesting characters and you just have fun with it. I like Halloween H20. I think, I'm not going to say it's underrated because it's a very up and down opinions in the franchise. Some people have it in their top 3 or 4 and some people have it at the very bottom. I don't get how you can put it at the very bottom just from story and whatever. I'm not someone that grew up on this movie. It's not my favorite as a kid, but as I grew older, it's easily in my top 5 consistently. Probably higher, but that's for a ranking video when I solidify that. But what do you think? Do you think Halloween H2O, in the hypothetical world, if it had a better mask, maybe a kill in somewhere in that begin and middle portion to maybe help the pacing and whatever, like an actual good on-screen kill, would it have a chance to be better than the original? Is it one of the few movies in the franchise that has that chance? Or do you think there's other movies in the franchise that have a better chance of being in the original? Or, better yet, do you like a movie in the franchise more than the original? Because I would love to talk to you guys, because I'm someone that doesn't always like to go with the popular opinion. I hate when everyone's just like, yep, this is what it is, and nobody else can say anything about it. So that's kind of my pushback on things, but I can't deny how much I love Halloween the original, and it's one of my favorite horror movies of all time. So I get it. But I love the entire franchise so much, and I feel bad that it's completely ruled out. Whereas Friday the 13th, you could have fun debates. And I have said in previous videos, I believe, that Halloween is the one franchise that I struggle with to have a consistent opinion. My opinion goes up and down with Halloween because there's so many highs in a lot of movies and so many lows in a lot of movies, to where it's harder to have a concrete opinion on what's the clear, like, ranking, because it's based off mood. One day I can like Halloween 6 more than Kills, or one day I can like 2018 more than whatever, Halloween 2. It's hard. It's hard to come to clear thoughts with the Halloween franchise, where I feel like Friday the 13th, I could tweak a couple movies to be in a certain element of spots, but my bracket with Friday the 13th is a lot more clear. Like, I know where my bottom couple movies are, and maybe they can switch a little bit. And I know where my middle movies are, and maybe they're competing against each other. But then I know my top movies. Where Halloween, my number 3 can swap to number 9 very fast. And my number 9 can swap to my number 5. And my number 7 can go to 4. They are all so fluid. It's really just my top 2 that I'm basically solidified at this point in 2025. But even my number 2 at one point was a little bit more fluid. I know where my top 2 is basically now. And I don't see that changing unless there's a new movie. But H2O is that one that is knocking at the door in those realms, to where I love it a lot. And there's other Halloween movies that I could argue the same thing, to where if you fix some things, it could be better than the original. It would have a fighting chance, at least, to the point where if I said it, people wouldn't go crazy. They wouldn't say, like, oh, that's an insane take. And that's the problem. I think with Halloween, if you say any other movie than the original, it's an insane take. And it's because of major, major flaws, like having 4 different masks in a movie, and pretty much all of them being horrible. The only good one is the opening 10-15 minutes of the movie, so that's barely anything, right? So people can easily point to that and say, not a chance. Now, if you have other reasons for why H2O shouldn't be in that conversation, I'd love to hear it, because that's what it should be about. But it's a shame that the Halloween franchise is crippled by the fact that they have so many bad masks, to where if you fix the mask in probably about 3 or 4 different movies, all of a sudden they could easily be in the conversation for the best in the franchise. And I think that's where our Halloween fans are really passionate about, because they love the certain movies they love. Because I think deep down they know if Halloween H2O or Halloween 4 had a better mask, you could clearly make the better argument. And I'm someone that grew up on Halloween 5. I had nostalgia for it. I don't love it in the same way I do now, but a big part of that is the mask. Halloween 5 mask is absolutely terrible. But imagine if these masks were better. Would they have a shot? Let's talk about it in the comments below. Like, comment, subscribe. Again, if you want to see more Halloween content in the future, I have a bunch of stuff on the horizon. Lots of ranking videos, franchise, mask ranking videos, tier list style, you name it, right? And if you like Jason, I have lots of content already on him. So definitely subscribe, check it out for more content in the future.